Let's see. Okay. This one. Okay. So this one, right? Remember, horizontal means x goes to plus or minus infinity. Okay. Vertical asymptotes means we have some domain issue, like 0 in the denominator. Oh, let me summarize it as like you have something like you're dividing by 0, like 1 over 0, or you know, or other domain issues. Usually it's something like 1 over 0. So you have 1 over 0, or you have other domain issues. For example, you can have the natural log of 0 is something that's going to cause a vertical asymptote. Okay. Um, So what we have to do in this one, we're not going to have the natural log problem, but we're looking for what's going to make the denominator equal to 0. So here's my horizontal. Well, first I'll do the vertical asymptote. Okay. So vertical asymptote. I'm just going to look for where's the denominator equals 0. So I'm going to say e to the x minus 6 equals 0. I'm going to solve it for x. X therefore is going to equal natural log of 6. Right? If you add 6 and you take the natural log, so that right there is the equation of your vertical asymptote, the line x equals natural log of 6. Then for the horizontal asymptote, okay, for the horizontal asymptote, okay, so for the horizontal asymptote, we're going to always look in the positive and negative directions when we go into infinity. Okay, so basically you're almost always going to have the same horizontal asymptote in both directions if there's not a square root of an x squared or an absolute value or something that could cause uh, the negative values to be different than the positive values. And in fact, in this case, we have to check both sides. So I'm just going to write this down. Okay, to find horizontal asymptotes. To find horizontal asymptotes, we are going to evaluate both the limit as x goes to plus infinity. Okay, you have to find limit as x goes to plus infinity of your f of x, and find the limit as x goes to negative infinity of f of x. Okay. Okay, so this is basically the drill. So if we look at our function in number 8, if I have so in number 8, was I doing number 8? No, I was doing number 7. No, yeah, I was doing number 8. So in number 8, I have 4 e to the x divided by e to the x minus 6. So these two limits will actually be different. Um, let's look. So this is number 8. This is 2.6, number 8. And so I'm looking at the function y equals 4e to the x divided by e to the x minus 6. Okay. Now, if I'm going to let's look at the limit as x goes to infinity here of our 4e to the x divided by e to the x minus 6. Okay, so in this case, what you want to do is, as I said before, is always just, I mean, to me, if you have this rational kind of thing, you're just going to factor out the lead term. right? So in this case, the lead term's already factored on the top. Let's just do e to the x. And now notice what happens. You have a 1 minus 6 divided by e to the x. Okay? And as x goes to infinity, it's definitely the case. Okay? So as x goes to infinity, what does e to the x do? It definitely goes to infinity. It is one of the fastest kind of infinity goers there are. So you don't want to mess with no e to the x going to infinity. This now cancels out, and this goes to 0. So what are you left with? You're left with really just the ratio of the lead terms, which was 4. So this is really the number 4. So, but that's just, so this is in the positive direction. Okay. Now, looking ahead, what happens to e to the x as x goes to negative infinity? All right, everybody, as x goes to negative infinity, what does e to the x do? What does e to the x do as x goes to negative infinity? Remember how it kind of looked like this? Kind of looks like that. So if I'm walking along e to the x towards negative infinity, where does it go? In fact, as an example, right, what is e to the negative 1,000? Anybody know what e to the negative 1,000 is? That's equal to 1 over e to the 1,000. Okay, that is hella small. That is basically just 0. Yes, it goes to 0. Good. So as x goes to minus infinity, e to the x goes to 0. So what's going to happen when I take this limit now, as x goes to minus infinity of 4e to the x divided by e to the x minus 6, which is equal to the limit as we established above, as x goes to minus infinity. I'm still just factoring out the lead terms. I end up with 4 divided by 1 minus 6e to the, oh wait, no, actually, in this case, we don't even have to factor out the lead terms, do we? I'm sorry. What happens up here? Notice this thing goes to 0, and what does this one do? It goes to 0, and so I end up with 0 divided by negative 6, which is defined, because see this thing survives, this is just equal to 0. So this is one where there's 2 horizontal asymptotes. There's one, so the horizontal asymptotes are twofold. Y equals 4 as x goes to positive infinity, and y equals 0 as x goes to negative infinity. That's enough. Are there any other homework questions I can answer? I'm sorry that I ate up so much time in the beginning. Um, any other questions on this or any other homework questions? Please ask about this if you didn't follow something.